Well, let's get started. I'll talk to you about some of this stuff in the show. I just want to make sure we capture all the good stuff. I'm already started recording just because Lonnie likes to do outtakes at the beginning, and normally I say something ridiculous that he likes to put on there. So. Welcome, everybody, to another show of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got me, Jodie B, and I am super excited to have our friend Zach, who is a fellow Run Disney lover, fellow lizard, who's going to tell us a little bit about a trip he took not too long ago. So recent hot off the press news. So I don't know if everyone is aware, but there is a Discord server for the Be Our Guest podcast, and a lot of us are on there. And I was following along on Zach's trip and just said, hey, would love to hear more about this other than following and seeing all your pictures. Want to talk about it? So I roped him in. So Zach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
I appreciate it. And I say us, like the rest of them are all here. It's me tonight. You've got me. So everybody else is living their glorious lives, traveling all over the place, or rounding up their 8 million children. So you've got me tonight. So thanks for being here. All right. So Zach, before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about like your love of Disney, where it came from, and why you want to keep going back to the parks?
Sure. So my love of Disney started back in, I guess, in the mid 90s when I was born. I'm like the prime age for Disney's target audience for like the Disney Pixar movie string at the end of the 90s. My favorite movie growing up was Toy Story. I literally wore out the VHS tape watching it so many times. And then in 2002, my parents decided to take me down for my first Disney trip. They had been on their own a few times before that. And I was hooked immediately. And so the obsession started all the way back then when I was in first grade, and continues to this day with me as an adult, just because it's the one place where I feel like I can disconnect from the real world and not have to really think about anything, even logistics or the outside world, what I want to eat, what I want to do for activities, and just unwind for a few days.
That's awesome. I love it. I'm quite older than you, so my Disney history goes a little bit longer and older than yours. However, I think that my kids probably have a very similar, their story would be very similar, saying like, well, you know, I grew up watching it. I fell in love with it. My parents took me when I was little, and now it's just part of my DNA. My daughter in particular, like, you know, she bleeds Disney. So anyway, so you also are a fellow Run Disney person. So you, before the show started, you were telling me about your next upcoming Run Disney race, which is what?
Yes. So I am doing my first Dopey Challenge this upcoming marathon weekend, January 2027.
Woohoo!
Very much looking forward to that. Halfway between what am I doing and I'm looking forward to it and excited and kicking myself for not doing it last year. Well, last year I only ran the 10K and the half marathon just to try to like ease into Run Disney a little bit. And then by the full marathon day, my mom, who was traveling with me, looked at me and went, "You're regretting not signing up for the full marathon, aren't you?" And I'm going, "Yep, yes, I am."
Well, let's start off with saying, congratulations on making it through registration, because unfortunately we know quite a few people who did not. So congratulations on making it through registration craziness. Second of all, follow the training plan and you'll be great, but you're young and do all sorts of races, so you'll crush it without a problem. I'm looking forward to seeing you, because I think we said that our paths crossed a little bit. I was coming off of a pretty serious injury last marathon weekend, so I only walked the 5K and the 10K, and then you could have run the marathon. I mean, I had a bib. You could have been Jodie and run the marathon, but so anyway, it will be nice to meet you. I am doing what you did last year. I am running only the 10K and the half marathon this coming marathon weekend. My husband's yet doing another Dopey, but I will be out there cheering for the full. I learned a lot last year cheering for it, and looking forward to trying it again this year. So I will be out there cheering everybody. So that would be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The 10K and a half are a good combination of races. Without it's not too much, but it's not too little. It's not super short like the 5K.
Yeah, I'll be doing those also for Wine and Dine. So I'm just excited to be running again after the the injury I had. So it's very exciting for me just to lace up my shoes. It's funny, like everybody else complains about it. I'm like, I'm so happy to just be out there and doing it all over again.
Oh no, I get it. After the winter we had up here in the Northeast, with between snow, frigid cold, and then being sick for me the entire winter with a sinus infection and just one head cold after another, and I couldn't run for a month or two, basically, and it was awful. After that, I was like, I need to get back out there. I need to get outside. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah, you're in the Connecticut area, right?
Yep, North Central Connecticut.
So you got buried with snow, that late storm also that, that just dumped all the snow.
Yes, we did. And I was supposed to travel up to southern New Hampshire for a race that following weekend, and they canceled it because the snow piles were too large and there was nowhere to put it all. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, my daughter goes to school in Vermont, so she got her fair share of snow this year. So she was pretty happy about it, but yeah, it seemed like it was quite a bit this year. So
yes.
Yeah. All right, so you survived the winter, and you escaped over the spring, and you went on a Disney trip, but a little bit different. Why don't you tell us about this trip, when you went, and what made you book this trip?
Sure. So I decided after Marathon Weekend, I upgraded myself to an annual pass for the first time, knowing that I was going to be doing that. My partner CJ and I were going to be wanting to do a trip later in the year, just the two of us, for around the Christmas time, to experience the parks decked out for Christmas, because we haven't done that before, except for seeing them all at Marathon Weekend post. But that's not the same
they're
thing.
Still decorated at Marathon Weekend, which I'm always like, okay, are we still here for Christmas? So you've got an upcoming trip this December 2026 for.
Yep, that's right.
That's awesome.
Beginning of December.
Well, we'll have to talk more about that, because Christmas. I did Jollywood Nights for the first time last year. Are you planning on doing it?
We're gonna do at least Mickey's Very Merry.
Okay. Well, I had to tell you, like, Jollywood Nights blew me away. I was so impressed by it. But anyway, we'll talk. We can save that for later. But okay, so you're going back in December. You got an annual pass.
Yep.
And you got to make that annual pass worth its money, right?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, well, I'm gonna have an annual pass anyways. I might as well take advantage of it. I've never. My birthday's in mid-May, which is why I was just there. I've never been in the parks on my actual birthday. I want to do that for a change. My partner CJ works for our school system here in town. And right now in the Northeast, it's crunch time between standardized testing and graduation prep and all that stuff. So his boss was like, you could take the time off, but it's really not the greatest time. So you probably shouldn't. So we went, okay, great. I'll take a solo trip for a change. And I'll do something I've never done.
Good luck with AP testing, end of the year testing, whatever. I'm gonna go have some fun at Disney.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So you arrived at Disney on Friday, May 15th, correct?
I did.
All right. So where did you decide to stay for this trip?
So I stayed at Caribbean Beach. I've stayed there a couple times before. That was the first place that we stayed from the first trip I took with my parents a long time ago. And I did the math. I haven't stayed there in 18 years. So pre-Skyliner, pre-Riviera, it's been a few years.
Yeah, you needed to give it a try again. So what did you think?
Skyliner's great. It's super convenient. I stayed in a preferred room because with the annual pass discount, it ended up being actually cheaper than a standard room. So I was in Barbados, right near the Skyliner, which was great for getting to Hollywood Studios, getting to Epcot. I can see why people have said in the past that the rooms could use a little bit of a refresh. For me, traveling by myself, knowing I was just there to kind of sleep for the most part and take a shower or take a nap in the middle of the day, it was fine, but I can see where they could use some sprucing up.
Yeah. I think they've kind of put themselves in a little bit of a corner though, because shutting down any part of that resort because the demand is so high with the Skyliner, it's almost, I wish they would have done the refurb before they did the Skyliner, but anyway, I kind of agree. I think it needs a little bit of a dusting off, sparkling up, it could use a little. One of the things, and it's been a while since I've been there. Actually, it was Christmas of 2021, or was it 2020? We were all wearing masks and everything, so I forget which Christmas it was, but we
Those
stayed
are the
there.
ones we try to forget.
Yeah, I know. It was actually kind of enjoyable because that's when we had the social distancing. So you would be in line and the next family would be far, far away from you. So it kind of had some advantages because,
Yeah, that was kind of
you
nice.
didn't have people breathing down your neck the whole time. But anyway, um, I just remember none of our luggage fit underneath the bed. And that made me bananas because all of our stuff was like out. And I'm so used to cruise line and the newer resorts, you just tuck your luggage right underneath the bed and you don't see it the rest of the time. And I was just like, it's out everywhere. It's just all in our stuff. So driving me crazy. So anyway, Caribbean
Y-
beach resort, worked for this trip.
Yep, it worked. It was, I wasn't going to spend money on a deluxe where I normally prefer to stay. Openly admit, spoiled only child. Parents had, especially my mom, has finer tastes in life, so we tend to stay deluxe most of the time, not every time. But I was definitely not going to do that for. I already had enough guilt upon myself, which I know I shouldn't have had for taking a trip by myself to go have fun by myself while everyone else was home. But Caribbean Beach definitely fit the bill for this one.
All right. So then I'm going to ask you, out of all the deluxe resorts, what's your favorite?
Wilderness Lodge.
Ah, I'm going to be there in July. I haven't stayed there for quite some time, so I'm ready for it.
I've stayed there a few times. It's the theming wise, it's my favorite. As far as location and convenience, I really love the boardwalk, so that's absolutely a close second. But Wilderness Lodge, as far as like, I live in the woods here in North Central Connecticut. I just love being in the outdoors and the rustic feel of it and the background loop and all of that. So that's
It's
where that
beautiful.
love comes from.
And I love the smell in there. I know that's weird, but I love the smell of Wilderness Lodge. So
So I mean, I walked through there on my trip, and we get into that a little bit. But I love how it was 92 degrees outside and hot and steamy and sunny in Central Florida, and the fireplace is still going. They've still got a people sitting by the fireplace in 92-degree weather with the air conditioning blasting. I go, yep, this is what I love about this place.
Yep. It's a mind trick. It works. All right. So you arrived on Friday. Was your room ready when you landed?
It was not. So I flew JetBlue from Hartford into into MCO. We have lots of direct flights from there. Actually took me over an hour after landing to get my luggage off of the belt, which was horrendous. Yeah, that took an exceptionally long time, which is unfortunate, especially for the nice new clean Terminal C. But grabbed an Uber from the airport after that. Room still wasn't ready, unfortunately. So I went, all right, I'll drop my luggage off with Bell Services and just grab Skyliner gondola and just head right into Epcot to grab some lunch at that point, early to mid morning, and go pick up my pass holder magnet and see what else I can wander around and find.
Did you have anything good and wonderful for lunch?
Yeah, so Skyliner drops off at International Gateway. I walked right in and started in Canada, and I grabbed a couple of I think some beef tips and some scallops at the pavilion. I don't remember exactly what the name of it is, right outside of Canada during
Because it's
the Flower and Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flower and Garden's still happening. So the beef tips was my son's favorite thing out of when we were there for his spring break. I think he went twice and got it because that was
very good.
His favorite thing out of all the entrees there. That and pizza. He had a lot of pizza this past trip, but anyway, he's a 15-year-old boy. He eats all the time. All right, so that's the best thing about an annual pass is you unfortunately still have to make those darn pass reservations, which makes me crazy, but you can just decide like, I'm going to go here today, or I'm going to go there today, or I'm going to hop over here. So, all right, did you do anything really other than the beauty of Flower and Garden in May, especially after the winter that you had? Was there anything special that you did at Epcot that day?
That day, I picked up my annual pass holder magnet, which was the first one I got to experience as a pass holder, which is fitting for my my love of Toy Story. Was the Buzz and Woody magnet, which is great. And then after that, I just kind of snacked a little bit at some of the other food booths. Nothing outstanding, but they were good. I can't remember exactly what I had off the top of my head. And then jumped in the single rider line for Test Track to take advantage of being independent by myself, and that was a nice change for the posted wait time was over an hour, I think, and I think I was on the ride within less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, there are some advantages of being by yourself. So that's one of them. You can just say, I'm going to go do this and get in the single rider line. Why not? So, all right. Did you stick around the entire day and make it through to the fireworks, or did you go back and check in, or?
I did not. So around 11:45, which was pleasantly early, I got the "Your room is ready" text, which is great. So
Wow, that
yeah,
is really early.
I think so. I do online check-in, but I think after a couple of trips, kind of figuring things out, I've realized stopping at the front desk and chatting with a cast member is still sometimes beneficial because it seems like it helps to move that process along a little bit. And I've also ran into experiences where they've said, "Oh, there was an issue with online check-in, so you weren't fully checked in, and surprise, your room is now ready," as soon as they click the button. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kind of follow that path from now on, and hopefully it'll um, give me a little better luck in getting a room ready at an
Okay,
earlier
so we're
time.
only sharing that tip amongst people who are listening to the show.
Of course.
You know, so
I,
I actually think you may be onto something there, because I think if you just do online check-in and you don't check in, like just say to the front desk, like, oh, I'm here or whatever. I definitely think it helps when you're staying on cash. I think when you're staying DVC side, they're just kind of like, I don't care, you're going to get in here at 10 o'clock at night. But I do think that
mm,
sometimes it helps to stop in at the front desk. So um, that I don't know. I think you may be onto something there.
yeah, it also allowed me to pick up my birthday celebration button, which, as we're recording, you can see on my pin board behind me there, which is a first for me to be able to wear one of those, which was exciting, and got a lot of
And
happy birthdays from not only cast members but a lot of guests too, which was a pleasant surprise throughout the trip.
that's great. So I think everybody listening to the show probably knows, but just in case, if you're celebrating anything, a birthday, an anniversary, an engagement, you, you know, passed your bar exam, I don't know, whatever it may be, you can tell the cast members. And at the well, they have it at the resort. I think they also have it at the parks, but you can get an "I'm celebrating" button, and it's just fun. It's fun to be recognized and told happy birthday and all that good stuff. So I'm glad you got that pin, because if I see somebody with one on, I like to say something to them. I mean, as long as I can read it. Sometimes I'm like, what does that say? Happy what? Like they're celebrating what? And then I'm too
Yeah.
embarrassed to say anything. But if it's the birthday one, it's pretty easy. It says like birthday. So, well, that's great. So then your room was ready, got to settle in a little bit. So that makes it makes a big difference to me. I just feel like then you're like, okay, now I'm here and I can get everything set up before the rest of the days of the trip.
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly it. I was able to, get my luggage, pick up the groceries I delivered to Caribbean Beach. Just rolled everything over to my room myself because it was only me, one bag and a backpack. Um, got unpacked, got settled in, relaxed for a little bit just to unwind in my room since I had been going since I left my house at quarter to 4 o'clock in the morning for my 6 o'clock flight.
Oh, well, you were preparing for your next Run Disney race.
I'm an early morning crazy person runner as it is for some context. So I'm normally up and out the door at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I
So
see
it
you. I'm
really
not
wasn't that
out the
much earlier.
door at 4 o'clock, but I'm often up by 4:30 and out by 5. So I feel you. I'm
There
an
we
early
go.
person too. So yeah, whenever they want to record late at night, I'm like, I can't record that late, guys. I've got to go to bed. And they're like, you're such an old lady. I'm like, I'm sorry. I get up at 4:30. It's early. I
Yep,
need
I'm
my
the same
sleep.
way.
All right. So what else did you get into that day?
So after settling into my room for a little bit, I decided, well, I've already been to Epcot for the day. I'm gonna go make sure that the castle's still at Magic Kingdom, and I haven't seen it since it's got its new paint scheme. So headed grabbed a bus, which I sat down at the bus stop, and to my surprise, which never happens, there was a Magic Kingdom bus rolling up within 30 seconds, which was great. Hopped on that and headed into Magic Kingdom for a little bit. Um, that particular night, there was quite a few rides that were having some technical difficulties, which was unfortunate, but made the best of it and kind of just wandered around and explored a little bit.
So I'm
And
curious, how were the crowds? Because this is before Memorial Day. Um, Typically, like the beginning of May to mid-May is fairly low in crowds because a lot of schools are still in session, and it's not the peak of the summer break yet. So how did you find the crowds?
So so I was there Friday through flying home Wednesday morning. There was a distinct difference on Friday and Saturday, especially in the afternoons from the rest of the trip. Friday and Saturday afternoon, both Magic Kingdom and especially Epcot, I would imagine the locals, because there's a festival going on. There was tremendous amount of crowds there. Um, they were really not that bad. They were absolutely tolerable. I think at some points in the middle of the afternoon on a couple of days, Tron, which you can never normally get towards, for example, had a 35-minute standby wait, which was incredible to see.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tron doesn't have a single rider line yet, does it?
It does not, and I wish it did.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that. I was like, does that, they're always updating things and changing things. So I was just curious. Okay. So spent the Friday afternoon at Magic Kingdom. I'm going to ask, did you eat anything there? Because I find the food at Magic Kingdom to be the most challenging of all 4 parks. So did you get anything good there?
I did. I just wanted some protein and some greens, which is very difficult to find in Magic Kingdom. So I headed over to Columbia Harbor House and mobile ordered myself their honey glazed salmon with green beans, which is one of my favorite dishes because it's not something that's deep fried and greasy. It's something that I can just chow down on and not feel gross afterwards. Just to kind of tide me over. And then afterwards, I did head back to Epcot to get a couple more food booth dishes, just as some light grazing.
Just so you know, there are quite a few of the lizards who go to Columbia Harbor House Saturday after like the lizard gathering, and we go to Columbia Harbor House and go upstairs and eat salmon and green beans and rice before the marathon. So
that is good to know.
I don't think we did it last year, and I can't remember why. But anyway, normally we've done it quite a few years. But I don't know why last year we didn't do it. But I wasn't running the full marathon last year, so I didn't have to worry about it. But normally there's a lot of us that do that because it's you're right. It's one of the few things at Magic Kingdom that's not deep fried and makes you feel just the rest of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it up there too. It's nice and quiet. So, All right. Did you stay for fireworks or the parade or anything?
I did not. I think I was walking into the park around Festival of Fantasy in mid-afternoon. I'm not normally much of a parade person, but I did jump on. I think I did get on Space Mountain and the People Mover, the TTA People Mover, which I think it stopped 4 or 5 times, which was when things started to go downhill for the afternoon, and went, okay, yeah. Check the My Disney Experience app. There's a lot of things that are going down. Jumped in line for Buzz because it wasn't that bad. Almost made it to the front of the line, and then everything just hard stopped. Pull out the My Disney Experience, saying, "Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rides down or something. Something's going on here. We're gonna bounce before everyone else does." Yeah, wow. It was a rough night.
Jeez, normally you'll see 1 thing down, maybe 2 things down, but that's a lot. So did you get to experience the new Buzz Lightyear spin?
I did. Fortunately, I had, which I was a new to me thing. I haven't used the Lightning Lane multi-pass up until this trip, which I did for myself specifically so that I can make sure that or give myself a better chance of getting on Big Thunder Mountain since it reopened, as well as Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin. Fortunately, I was able to, between Lightning Lane and Standby, get on both of those twice, which I'm definitely a big fan of the upgrades on Buzz Lightyear compared to the original version.
Yeah, the original version, I almost gave up because I would be like, I am shooting at the thing and I'm getting 0 points, and it would be so frustrating. This past trip, I was in the same car as my teenage son, who thought it was funny to just keep spinning us around. So I was like, trying to, and then he was like, haha, you can't. And he would like hold it so he could get points, but then I couldn't be in a range to get it. He thought it was hilarious. I was like, oh, well, here I am still getting next to 0 points. But I do think it's so much better though, because you have more control than you did in the past.
You have more control, and you kind of can, not 100% perfect, but you can get a better sense when you actually hit a target or where you're aiming compared to before, where you had a limited range of motion and it was just a bunch of red laser dots everywhere. I will say being by yourself though, which was a new challenge to me, when you're trying to control spinning the vehicle around and aim at the same time, adds the little bit of complexity to multitasking, which was not something I thought of ahead of time.
Yeah, and I'm like, which would be better, using your dominant hand to shoot and your weaker hand to spin, or vice versa? Like, you think I'm like, I don't know which one would be better. I don't know. Who knows? I do think that the new upgrades though are great though. So I'm glad that you got to experience that. And Big Thunder. Okay, without spoiling too much because I haven't been on it yet and it's my very, very favorite. How is the new upgrade?
So I hadn't previously been on it since 2019, so it had been a few years.
Okay.
But as far as my mind's a little bit fuzzy as far as some of the scenes or things, elements on the ride. As far as the ride itself goes, I feel like I can enjoy it more now because of how much smoother it is. I don't feel like it's any faster or slower, like some people have said, but it's so much smoother. I feel like it's a more overall enjoyable experience. You're not getting banged around like you are on Space Mountain, for example, like you used to on Big Thunder. Yeah. So it was a pleasant and very enjoyable experience.
Good. I can hardly wait. Like I'm so excited to give it a try. I can't wait. So
it's a little bit sad not getting to see the Rivers of America from it anymore. And right now it's just a bunch of walls and you can kind of see some construction dirt. That's temporary, but it's still fun.
Yeah. That whole construction process is going to be quite interesting when it's all done. It's I have faith in the Imagineers and what they're going to be doing, but it definitely is going to change the landscape over there. That's without a doubt. So
absolutely.
All right. Any other highlights from that day, your first day?
So I did have an individual lightning lane for Guardians, which is why I ended up jumping on the monorail once I realized that I wasn't going to get on Buzz Lightyear that afternoon, and headed back to Epcot to kill some time before that. And Guardians I made it through both of the pre-shows, and Guardians went down. So
no, this is not birthday magic.
No, it was not at all. Kind of finally, fortunately, made it on the ride after an extended wait time because I was like, well, I paid for this. I'm going to enjoy it because fortunately it did come back up. I got Disco Inferno for a song, which is a new one for me in the handful of times I've written it, which was good to not get a repeat. But after that, I kind of just called it a night and said, I've been up since 3:30 that morning. It's been a long travel day. So we're just going to get some rest and start fresh for early the next morning.
Not a bad plan. And especially when you're by yourself and you're just like, I don't have to ask anybody. I could just be like, I want to go. I'm going to leave. So
exactly. I'm tired. I don't want to wait in the line for the Skylighter to get back after fireworks. So I'm going to head out. That's
great. Well, good for you. It sounds like a great first day. All right. So then Saturday, the 16th, since you're an early riser, did you get up and run around the parks run around the resort before?
When I'm on a Disney vacation, it's the one time I will give, except for Run Disney events, I will give myself a break from running. I did do the math and figured out that I was walking an average of 14 miles a day, so I could spare myself the extra mileage. Especially because it was the Florida heat, which we're not used to in the Northeast yet up here, so it was already 70 degrees just before daybreak. But being an early riser means and having breakfast items in my room to not have to wait for quick service to open, jumped right in line for the Skyliner at bright and early at 7:00 and headed right to Hollywood Studios when it was open to rope drop and get some rides in back to back, which was great.
So you just brought something up and I'm going to highlight that. You mentioned you had some groceries delivered so you could have breakfast in the room before the quick service opened. I love Disney and I think they do a great job at a lot of things. I do wish the quick service locations in the resorts would open just a little bit earlier, because a lot of times you're trying to, get to a park or you leave your resort really early. And sometimes the quick service places aren't open by the time you want to leave. So that's a great tip to have some breakfast items delivered by a local grocery store. So then you can just eat in your room and you're on your own time. You don't have to worry about trying to get something at the resort. So that's a great tip.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me personally, I'm more than happy to just make the Joffrey's coffee in the room without having to pay a few extra dollars and save there by just having a morning coffee. Again, I'm an early riser personally, so even on vacation without setting an alarm, I'm still awake at 5 o'clock in the morning because that's the time that my body decides that it's time to get up. I don't want to wait till 7 o'clock to grab a cup of coffee or eat. So I'm happy with just some fresh fruit and yogurt and granola and a cup of coffee in my room, and then I'm good to go for the day, and I can grab something more substantial in a park later after hitting a few rides, say. So that's exactly what I did, and was able to get up and out of the room and be one of the first ones in line for the Skyliner just after 7 o'clock.
And who did you order your groceries through? And the reason I'm bringing this up is just today I read an article from somebody who was who posted this article. WDW Prep School. And it was a whole long article about all the various places that you could get groceries delivered. And there were some in there that I had never heard of before I was like, I didn't even know this was a resource. So any tips for where you got your groceries delivered?
Yeah, so we've used Instacart a couple times at the Disney resorts. Knock on wood, we haven't had any issues. It's been very smooth sailing the whole way. We had previously used Instacart during the COVID era when we were a little bit paranoid about going to the grocery store. So I already had an account set up and was familiar with how to use it. So when we decided to start doing it for Disney stays too, I said, well, I already know how to use this. We're gonna go for it and see how it works and order some groceries from Publix, which, as I said, knock on wood, we haven't had any major issues with. Grab a case of water, which is the same price for one bottle in the parks,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to some light breakfast grab and go items, and we'll go from there.
That's great. That's a good tip. All right. So sorry, just didn't mean to jump in there, but I happened to read that article today and it just made me think about that.
Yeah, I meant to mention it and it slipped my mind too. So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Saturday, you're early riser, you're up, you're out of there, and I'm sorry, you said Hollywood Studios, if I remember correctly.
Yep, which is another great tip if you're close to the Skyliner and are an early person. It is super quick and super easy to get to Hollywood Studios, especially to the front of the line for rope drop for early entry from Caribbean Beach.
So just out of curiosity, do you happen to remember when the Skyliner started running compared to what time the park opened?
Yeah, so early entry park opening was scheduled for 8:30 that morning. I was on the Skyliner, I think by 7:20, give or take,
Okay.
was when they had, and I was probably 10 or 15 people back in line.
Okay. So well over an hour ahead of time is when you were in line to get there. I always tell people 60 to 90 minutes if you really, really want to be first in line, that's a good idea.
Mhm.
But I was just curious. I couldn't remember what time they actually started running the Skyliner before park opening. So
Yeah, official schedule is about an hour before park opening. So they were right in
got it.
line with that the few times that I did use that. So
Great. Well, thanks for the tip. All right. So we get to Hollywood Studios. Where do you head first?
I headed right to Slinky Dog Dash, which, knowing that the wait time is only going to go up from park opening in that section of the park, as well as it's only going to get hotter with the lack of shade in that queue in that area. Pro tip: it may or may not happen, but I was actually on the ride. Again, scheduled park opening for resort guests at 8:30. I had already ridden Slinky Dog Dash twice before 8:30.
Twice.
That was, yep, I got right on it. I think it was 8:05 or 8:06. I looked at the time. I was on the ride, got right back out. There was still no wait time, so I just zipped around and got right back in line.
That's incredible. That is definitely, you won. That's great. I love that.
Yeah, that was absolutely. And Saturday was my actual birthday, so that was an awesome start to my birthday.
Okay. Well, after all the rides being down the day before, you deserve this great start. And happy belated birthday, by the way. I'm glad that your morning started off with a bang, because that's great. So Slinky Dog Dash twice before park opening. That's amazing. So where did you go after that? I mean, I would have been celebrating. I would have been like, everyone, look at me. I just rode Slinky Dog twice.
Yep. Anyone who's ever traveled in Disney with me, but parents, grandparents, friends, my significant other know that at rope drop, it's not stop and look around. It's we could do those things later when everyone else is waiting in line. It's go, go, go. We're going to get as many things as we can. So based on proximity, I jumped right in line for Toy Story Midway Mania. Again, an interesting, not as fun experience, but still plenty of fun, not competing against someone, but just doing it to see what score I could get for myself. I was in the upper 100,000s, I think.
Best
Not
in
terrible,
vehicle?
but not great. I'm sorry.
Best in vehicle?
Yes, best in vehicle a couple times.
Good.
Jumped off of that, jumped right in line for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Got through that, which was great. I missed the Great Movie Ride. I'm one of those people. It's still a cute, fun ride, but I still miss the Great Movie Ride at the same time. So I'm a little bit torn about that one. And then after that, headed right for one of my all-time favorites, which is the Tower of Terror. And then rode that once, got back in line, and then my bad luck from the previous night caught up with me, and the whole ride didn't go down, but they were only running one side of it. So the line went from moving a 10 or 15 minute line, moving pretty quickly, to somewhat of a crawl. But I stuck it out, and it wasn't too much longer, fortunately, to get through that again, and then went on my day from there.
Yeah, once one of the sides go down, that line goes from moving and manageable to just a crawl. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you're already in line, and you're like, something must have happened, because we were making good progress, and now we're all standing here. So
yeah, especially after riding it once already and seeing that they were clearly running both sides at that point, for that to change within an instant, which was unfortunate, but it happens.
Did you have lightning lanes for this day?
I didn't.
You didn't? Okay. So you didn't treat yourself for your birthday?
No, I just was like, it's my birthday. I'm just going to see where the day takes me.
Okay.
And again, it pays to be early, and I didn't feel like it was necessary, because I got through all of the things I wanted to pretty early in the morning.
So the new Rock and Roller Coaster with the Muppets was not open when you were there, correct?
Correct. I actually missed the annual pass holder previews for that by a day.
Oh,
and part of me considered extending my trip for an extra day so I could just get to see that, but I didn't. And so that'll be something to look forward to on my next trip. Okay.
So what is your feeling about this, the change?
I'm trying to avoid the spoilers. From what I've seen and heard so far, it's good. I love, that was my all-time favorite roller coaster. I love the Aerosmith version of it, but I also like the Muppets, so I'm looking forward to seeing it in its new instance. And I have heard good things, which is making it a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Muppets person, so this is big for me. So I'm just glad the Muppets got somewhere after they tore down my beloved Muppets 3D vision. So
I agree.
All right. So did you bounce from Hollywood Studios there then, or did you stick around a little longer?
Trying to remember. It was such a blur that morning. Let's see. Just scrolling through some of my pictures here.
I know sometimes I'm like, what did I do? Oh yeah, look at this picture.
Yep. So I did decide, I'm in Hollywood Studios. Not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I do appreciate them and enjoy the movies. Headed over to Rise of the Resistance and jumped in the single rider line for that, since it's something that I was able to do when I'm by myself, which was great. Cut down the wait time there significantly. It does, if you're interested in that, cut out the pre-show. So if you haven't done it before, you don't necessarily want to do the single rider line, or if you're for the full immersion experience, you don't necessarily want to do the single rider line. But if you've done it before and want to save some time, then it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Did you go on Smuggler's Run, or decide to spare yourself from the young child moving the joysticks left and right and up and down and jerking you around?
I, who gets pretty bad motion sickness, did spare myself from Smuggler's Run.
Bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yeah, it's I feel like that ride I'll go on it if I know the people who are going to be the pilot and the co-pilot. But if I get stuck with random people, I'm like, nope, I don't want to be on this thing.
Yep.
So And it's your birthday. You don't want to feel bad.
No.
All right. What other birthday fun did you manage to do that day?
So after I wandered around Galaxy's Edge and just took some pictures. Even though I only have my iPhone with me on Disney trips, just because I don't feel like carrying a full blown camera and equipment with me. I am a semi-professional hobbyist photographer, so I do love just taking different and unique angles of the parks, especially when I'm by myself and not worrying about what someone else or making someone else bored while I'm trying to take some good pictures. So got to spend some time to myself doing that, and then from there I headed back to my resort, I think, to take a quick break for the afternoon, because it was midday and it was hot. So that's one thing I do like to do, is at the peak of the sun and peak of the heat of the day, just go back, take a cold shower, and put my feet up for an hour or two.
Everybody should do that. Whether you go to the pool or you sit in your room, whether you take a nap or watch a show, you just feel so much better.
Oh, 100%. And it's like after that, you're just refreshed and ready to go. I mean, pro tip for runners who don't already know this trick: either lay on the floor and put your feet up the wall to get all the blood out of you, back to where it's supposed to be, out of your feet, or just lay in your bed with a couple of pillows propped under your feet. It does wonders for you for the rest of the day.
I mean, I love doing feet up the wall at most marathon any Run Disney Race weekend. You'll see me my feet, like I'm laying on the bed, feet up the side of the wall, and I'm just sitting there hanging out, because it does help tremendously.
Absolutely.
Any other fun this day? I mean, it's your birthday. You had to do something great.
Yeah. So after that, I, again, taking advantage of my annual pass, headed back over to Epcot for the afternoon for a little bit, and took advantage of the annual pass holder photo op that they had in the Imagination Pavilion, which was Chip and Dale in their 50th anniversary costumes, which was fun. No wait to be able to see them and get some cute pictures with Chip and Dale, some of my favorite characters.
That's super fun. We did that marathon weekend. We went back there. You just kind of forget about those little pluses and advantages that you can take advantage of. So I'm glad you did that, because you never know what characters are going to be back there.
Yeah, absolutely. And some cast members I knew it was there. Some cast members had mentioned it, going, if you're, hey, you're an annual pass holder, don't forget to go and take advantage of this. It's like, yeah, sure. What better way to celebrate my birthday than with Chip and Dale? So that was great. This is kind of where I noticed in, mid-afternoon on a Saturday, where the local crowds were definitely in Epcot, and it was definitely very busy. And I went, okay, I think it's time to get out of, I wandered around a little bit, just taking some pictures, and, really the whole point of, or the main objective for the trip was to go and enjoy Flower and Garden Festival, but it was a little bit too people-y for even doing that. So I, at that point, headed over to, I headed to Magic Kingdom, and then from there took the boat over to Wilderness Lodge, my favorite resort, to decide to treat myself for dinner. I had been wanting to try the bison burger over at I can't think of the name of the restaurant.
Geyser Point.
Thank you, Geyser Point. I was like, well, that's gonna be my birthday dinner, so headed over there, got a table within a few minutes, and enjoyed that, which it does live up to the hype.
I was going to say your review of the bison burger. Let's hear it.
So, side note, our local grocery stores here in Connecticut sell prepackaged ground fresh bison. So we make bison burgers at home all the time. I personally prefer bison over beef because it's not as fatty and it doesn't have as much of an aftertaste. It's a nice, lean, hearty, wholesome meat. It was different than I make at home, but it was still very, very good.
And what do they, I can't remember, is that one that come with some sort of like tomato chutney or something on it? Am I making this up? Like, do you remember?
Yeah, no, I think it's like I don't know if it's tomato or like a cranberry mayonnaise.
Yeah, I'm like, it had something a little bit unique on it, and I can't remember right off the top of my head what it was, but I thought it was delicious. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I would go back for it.
Yeah, I would too. I think Geyser Point is just beautiful and a great way to spend an evening. It's not too rowdy or crazy. It's kind of quiet and chill back there, and and it's beautiful ambiance. So yeah, good. That's a good birthday dinner. Nice work.
Thank you. Yes.
Did you get a free cupcake or anything for your birthday?
They gave me a chocolate chip cookie, so that was nice.
That was nice. Good. Good. All
Um,
right. So did you call it a night after this?
I did not. So I headed, since I was so close to the Magic Kingdom, I could was just a boat ride away. Headed back into Magic Kingdom for a little bit of time. Ended up getting on Pirates of the Caribbean with a short wait. Didn't spend too much time in there because again it was a little bit busy, and unfortunately it was another night where it seemed like a lot of things were not functioning properly. So there were super long wait times or rides were just down. So I decided, well, I haven't had a birthday cake on my birthday, so I'm gonna head over to Pop Century, where I had stayed for a night in Marathon Weekend in January. A little bit of a long story there, but we tacked on a night, and it was cheap enough to stay at Pop Century. So my mom and I did. I like to collect a trading pin from every resort I've ever stayed at. Unfortunately, in January they didn't have any, so I went, well, I'm going back. I might as well, and it's an easy Skyliner ride back to my resort from there. So went and grabbed myself a piece of their tie-dye cheesecake because I really wanted to try that, and was able to get my pin. And
That's good.
after that,
We were just someplace recently where my son also does the same. We collect pins from all the resorts, and they were out of it. And I can't remember. Well, we were at Boardwalk and Vero, so it had to be one of those two. And I can't remember which one was out, but it was one of those like, oh, bummer. That's kind of sad. But what can you do? You know?
yeah, that's even then. I was like, well, I know I'm going to be back in a few months, so I'll just have to make a trip over here just for that. It's only a quick Skyliner ride away from Caribbean Beach, so.
So how was the cheesecake? Live up to the hype?
It did. It was very good cheesecake with
Good.
a nice, nothing fancy flavor wise, but it was a good piece of cheesecake. I do love a good piece of cheesecake. And then the red velvet kind of layer or crust on the bottom was also very good.
I have yet to try that. So I'm going to be at Pop twice coming up soon because I'm points poor. So I'm going to have to add that to my rotation of something to remember to get next time. So, all right. So did you call it a night after that?
After that, I did. So I headed back to Caribbean Beach and just kind of wandered around. There's like an island in the middle of the lake called Caribbean Key. Just kind of wandered through there again, taking some pictures, taking the sights. Sat down in an Adirondack chair and just watched the sunset, which was just a nice quiet evening to myself to finish out the day and get to bed early to again start bright and early the following morning.
That sounds like a lovely birthday though. So I'm right there with you. That a little quiet time watching the sunset, that sounds wonderful. So hopefully you said it was a good birthday because it sounds great to me.
Absolutely.
All right. So next morning, back at it, bright and early. Where did you go?
Bright and early. So I headed to Animal Kingdom that morning, which opens even earlier at 7:30, which again is not an issue at all to get on a bus an hour before park opening for me as an early bird. Headed right to Expedition Everest, which is my favorite ride in Animal Kingdom, one of my all-time favorites, and just proceeded to ride it 3 times in a row with no wait because the majority of the crowds head towards Flight of Passage in Pandora. I'm not personally, I can't do simulators like that because they'll make me motion sick. So I don't even want to attempt trying Flight of Passage, nor does it's just something that doesn't interest me. So I'll just take advantage of the crowdless Expedition Everest.
I love that strategy because everybody else is going left and you're like, I'm going to go right, and you get to go on it 3 times in a row. I mean, back in the day, I feel like you could go on Expedition Everest a lot of times in a row. So that's awesome that you got to do that. So Animal Kingdom, I think right now is under a little bit of an issue because there's not a lot there, to be perfectly honest. Like there's with the construction going on. So how did you spend the rest of your time there?
So I think this is kind of another situation where it's like I really just kind of decided to. So I did Expedition Everest 3 times, got right in line for Kilimanjaro Safaris because that opens shortly after park opening. I think 8:15, somewhere in there. Got on one of the not a super long wait, but definitely not a walk on. Got a row in a safari vehicle all to myself. So I was able to get some great pictures of some animals off of both sides, which was fun. And then after that, I just kind of decided to wander around and try to seek out some trails in areas that I hadn't been either before or in a very long time. Did things like the Maharaja Jungle Trek and just watched the tigers in there and some of did some bird watching, and as well as the one over in Africa as well. Same thing, watching the tigers and the chimps and everyone.
Those trails I think are really underrated. It's one of those, it's there, but it's almost like you have to remind yourself, oh yeah, I'm going to go do that. I think that's a great way to spend some time in Animal Kingdom. And it's not too crowded back there because there's, most other people are heading, again, like you said, Flight of Passage or something like that. So it sounds like a good way
Absolutely, and you can spend as much or as little time in those areas of the parks as you want. It's kind of up to you if you want to just buzz through it quickly, or if you want to take a little bit of time and sit and watch any of the animals and any of the exhibits for a period of time, which I did, and got some great pictures. So my patience in there paid off.
That's awesome. That's great. All right. So what was on your agenda next?
So after I wrapped up in Animal Kingdom, which, like you said, it's there's not a lot going on. So I was satisfied with everything I wanted to do by early to mid morning, like 10:30ish, say, especially, starting at 7:30. Grabbed a bus back over to Epcot. Again, this was a very Epcot heavy trip because, one, it's my favorite park, and two, I really wanted to enjoy as much of Flower and Garden as I could. So just wandered, took a lap or two around World Showcase, grabbed some lunch around some of the festival booths. I think this day I had some pork ribs on in one of the booths, kind of in between World Showcase and what I would call Future World still, because I'm
with the little slice of Fresno pepper on top, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I really liked these. Did you like these ribs?
I did. They were very good.
Yeah.
I also had the chocolate mousse from the same booth. Probably shouldn't have done that to start the day because it was a little heavy, and I would have liked to sample a few more things, but it was still very good.
I feel like that mousse, they could have cut it in half and it still would have been more than enough for like somebody to share. My daughter and I tried to share it and we couldn't get through it. And we're both huge chocolate people. It was very dense and very thick. It was delicious, but it was just, I felt like it was a lot of mousse. I feel like we're just kept eating it and eating it. I'm like, is this, just reappearing? I don't feel like we're making a dent in this at all. So, yeah, we enjoyed both those items at that booth too. So glad you had a good experience. But that festival is coming to an end soon, isn't it?
I think it is I think June 1st is the last day, or right around there. Yeah. So it's a pretty long festival, which is good, but at the same time, it's definitely run its course. I'm glad it is semi-condensed from what it was a few years ago.
Yeah. Did you just see any of the topiaries that they had up for the festival?
Yeah, I was taking all sorts of pictures, looking at some here on my other screen of Mike and Sully.
Poor Sully. Poor skinny Sully.
Well, at this point, he's been growing for a few months, so he's filled out quite a bit.
Okay.
I'm looking at a picture of Pooh here too. That's looks like he needs to lay off the honey at this point in the festival because he's getting a little round.
And then Lady's hair by the end of the festival is just like wild, which looks like my hair in summer. So, I feel for her because that's exactly what my hair does in humidity. So she and I are kindred spirits in that.
Yeah, I can't say I relate there.
I'm a little jealous. All right. So I just think of spending a day at Epcot. Oh, did you go to the butterfly exhibit that they had up front?
I did. Yes. That's one of my favorites. I just love walking through there. I spent probably a half hour in there my first night in Epcot, just trying to get butterflies to land near me and got some great pictures of them with my iPhone.
Yeah, I again, that's just one of those things you don't think about, but I always go in it and then end up spending more time in there than I think I would because I just enjoy it so much. I mean, when am I ever in a space surrounded by butterflies and watching them, the little hatch, I don't know, the whole thing is, I just think it's kind of magical in its own way,
I agree. And as a whole, I love Flower and Garden. I'm very much a green thumb. Our house is full of houseplants. The whole front of landscaping of our home here, I've filled the last couple of years with all sorts of pollinator friendly flowers for the hummingbirds and the butterflies and the bees. So I easily could have spent an entire day, and over the course of the trip, I probably spent more than an entire day just taking pictures and getting ideas for my own gardens at home by looking at all the flowers and the topiaries and how every country had different things laid out.
Yeah, yeah, and they do such a good job of putting little descriptors in front of a lot of the flowers. I've done that before too. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And then I'll bring it home like, will this grow here or does this just
Yeah,
happen?
exactly.
Well, I work in Florida. So I also have a pollinator garden that I'm always looking to add new things to because I got to help those bees. Got to help those.
Absolutely.
They need all the help they can get. So, all right. Any other highlights from this day?
Yeah. So I two more perks. I did check out the annual pass holder lounge for a half hour or so just to get off my feet and get some air conditioning in the back of the Morocco Pavilion while I was in Epcot, and might as well take advantage of it while it's there during the pass holder summer days, which I think it's there through July 15th or something along
Okay,
those lines.
so where in Morocco is this? When you get to the Morocco Pavilion, because I was there. I have not been into this yet. So
So it had been a very long time. This is where what's the name of the table service restaurant that was
Marrakesh, is that the name?
Restaurant Marrakesh? Thank you. Yes, this is in Restaurant Marrakesh, which never reopened after the COVID closures. It's all the way in the one. It's a wander through all the way in the back of the Morocco Pavilion, which is, again, it's been a very long time since I've been back there.
Okay.
So it's very secluded and out of the way, which is kind of a nice thing.
Yeah. And what did they have in there? Was it just like a place to chill out, or did they have, water, soda, anything, or was it just come chill out here?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was actually relatively crowded when I was in there too, so hard to find a seat. I wish they had like phone charging stations set up. That would have been one nice thing to have, but they did have some chilled water cups available and some light snacks. I had filled myself on food booth food already, so I wasn't taking advantage of more than the water, as well as like a genie's lamp photo opportunity that was, again, exclusive for pass holders, which was cute.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah. Again, it was, I'm here. I'm gonna take advantage of it and check it out. Not something that you have to do, but if you're in the area, might as well stop in and take a load off your feet for a few minutes.
And again, you got to make that shiny new AP work for you, right? You got to
Absolutely make it
do all
worth
the
it.
things.
Yep.
I feel like every little thing that you do that has an AP advantage, like you're like, yep, that helped. That now I'm getting my money's worth. I'm getting my money's worth. All right. So you said there's something else that you did. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Took advantage of being by myself again and got in the single rider line for Remy, which moved very quickly compared to the standby line. I don't remember what the wait time was posted at, but the single rider line for that does move relatively quickly, which was nice. And again, by myself, didn't care if my party was split up because it was just me.
Yeah.
And that's a cute ride.
I have a funny story to tell you about that, Zach. So last time I did single rider line for that too, and there was a couple, and I don't think they thought a third was going to arrive, so they were like kind of all lovey-dovey with each other, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I have to sit here," and I felt really awkward, like I'm ruining their moment, but I'm like, the cast member asked me to come sit by you, so I mean, you can still be happy with each other, but I'm going to be in this third seat here, so.
Yeah, I had a few ride experiences like that myself. I think a lady had put her lounge fly down in the seat next to her, thinking that no one was going to sit there, and then I walk up and go, "Excuse me, they told me to sit here."
Yeah.
Sometimes squished in the back of those tiny little mice.
Yeah, and you get it's a little awkward, but you're like, I'm sorry, but
yeah,
that's where they told me to go. So, all right. Any other fun things that day?
Fun things that day. So, for dinner, so I guess this preface for this whole trip, I didn't book any advanced dining reservations, which is very much not like me to do. But just because I was by myself, I wanted to be a little bit more flexible and kind of go where the day took me, and to not sit in a table service restaurant and by myself and spend time that I could be enjoying rides, especially with nobody else with me. Headed over to the Polynesian resort and enjoyed a pina colada and some ribs and ohana noodles over at Tambu Lounge, which is a great tip if you're traveling by yourself or one or two people, don't have a dining reservation for ohana, is to just roll up to the bar and see if there's a couple of seats available, which
Yeah.
fortunately for me, there was.
Yeah, that's great. We were just talking about the lounges recently, and I think and actually we're about to do a show about the lounges. But I think people forget like that you can. A lot of the lounges have food. For example, the bar at Topolino, which isn't a lounge, I know, but the bar at Topolino is never crowded, and you can order full menu from there, including my very favorite dish, which is the sole say. So, it's just a if you can't get a dining reservation, there's just a couple of you. It's a great place to stop in one of the lounges or the bars and see if you can get a space there.
Yeah, absolutely. And to I jump ahead a little bit, the following night I walked headed over to the Contemporary and enjoyed the Steakhouse 71 burger in the Steakhouse 71 lounge for dinner. When I walked in at after 5 o'clock, after the restaurant was open, I had the place to myself. There was not another person in there besides me and the bartender, and it was fantastic. It was
That's
kind of surreal, but it was fantastic to enjoy
that's
a glass of wine and a burger.
okay. How was that burger? I know we're jumping ahead, but how was that one?
That was also very good. That's another one that I've heard good things about and have wanted to try. And it was more like a fast food burger, but it was still very, very good. And I would definitely
Oh,
go back
see,
for it again.
I would have expected a Steakhouse 71 burger to be like a big, thick, like steak burger type of thing, not a like fast foodish type of burger. So
No, so it's the substance comes from the fact that it's two patties, but they're thinner, and
okay,
it's definitely more of like a processed cheese, fast food style flavor.
got it.
But still
Interesting.
very good.
All right. Okay. Now that we're talking about burgers, we talked about the bison burger. We talked about the Steakhouse 71 burger. Have you had the burger at Coronado Springs at Three Bridges?
I have not.
Okay.
Coronado is still one of the resorts that I have not been to in my 20 some odd years of going to Disney, and it's on my list.
Well, I'm not a big like order burger person. That's just not something that I normally. Or they all tease me that I eat salads all the time. But
Me
we're
too.
at
It's fine.
Coronado, and the burger at Coronado at Three Bridges, in my humble opinion, this is just me talking, I think is one of the best ones on property. So you're gonna have to give it a shot and let me know what you think. If you think if it lives up to the other two that you've had, well, I mean, bison is a little bit different, but once you get over there, give it a shot and let me and be like, okay, Jodie, you're absolutely out of your mind, or it's a good burger. So I just think I think it's a good one.
I will keep it. I will keep that in mind. I've heard good things about the one at Wailulu in the new tower in the Polynesian as well. So
Yeah,
that's another one on my list to get
I
over
know.
to.
I saw that one too, but I couldn't pull myself away from ordering the fresh catch that day. I was like,
Mm.
seafood just sounded lighter, better. I don't know.
And that's the thing. In a lot of these cases, it seems like there's things instead of I can make a burger at home. There's things that
Yeah,
I would want to try off the menu that I'm not necessarily going to get at home.
yeah, exactly, exactly. All right, so that's a perfect way to go though. Like to get a walk up to the bar and have a burger with the bartender, just the two of you. I mean, having the whole place to yourself. I mean, it's like an extra birthday treat.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I was not expecting. I was expecting the place to be packed, and it was not. It was a nice little surprise.
You just never
Hidden
know.
gem, just a few steps away from the Magic Kingdom.
Never know. All right. Any other? I don't even know where we are now on which day, but any other highlights you want to share?
Yeah. So after I headed out of the Polynesian from that particular night, I headed back over to the Magic Kingdom. I was able to, since this is Sunday evening, I could tell the night and day difference with the crowd levels. It was like not the place to myself, but it was definitely far less than it had been. And I was able to get on. This is where I was able to get on Buzz Lightyear and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad before my Lightning Lanes, which were the following day. For the first time, just going through the standby queues. Wait times were not bad at all. And I think we had already kind of touched upon how much I enjoyed both of those updates. Went through the Haunted Mansion just because it's a must do for me. And then actually got on the Jungle Cruise, and I think the posted wait time was maybe a half hour at most. I wanted to stay for fireworks that night, so I was just trying to kill some time. I don't think I waited more than 20 minutes, which is
Wow.
unheard of. And
Yeah.
it was right at sunset too, which is a nice time to do that. So you could still see everything, but it was nice and starting to calm down for the day and a little bit cozy. And then after that, I headed over to my Lightning Lane at Tron, which is, in my humble opinion, far more fun at night with everything lit up than it is during the daytime.
I
That
agree.
ride, I know it's short, but that ride is so fun.
Yeah, it really is. If it was just 30 seconds longer,
I agree.
just 30 seconds. I think
Yep.
I would feel like, okay, now I got my money's worth, or now that felt worth it. But I just feel like once I'm getting into it, it's like, okay, and now you're done. I'm like,
Yep.
wait. Like I just was kind of getting the vibe here. Now we're already finished, but oh well. I'll take it over nothing being over there. So still
Yep. I
pretty
agree.
awesome. Okay, well, so did you make it to fireworks this night?
I did, and for me, staying up till fireworks at 10 o'clock is a push. It's really not something that I normally do. I'm normally in bed before 8:30 at night when I'm at home, but in Disney, I can tough it out a little bit longer. Um, Parked myself in actually near the flagpole because you can still see the castle projections and some of the projections on Main Street and all the fireworks from back there, and it made for a very quick exit out and right onto a bus back to my resort to be in bed before 11, which on vacation is reasonable, right?
Okay, so tell me that you slept in the next day.
Oh no. No. I rope dropped Hollywood Studios again the following morning just because I'm awake at 5 o'clock anyways. That's my body telling me it's time to get up. So it was a rough day, but I did take advantage of it. It's like you could sleep at home. You're on vacation, right?
Yeah. And this is the day you said you had lightning lanes?
I did. So I started the day at Hollywood Studios. I didn't use any lightning lanes there, so I hit a couple more rides on Slinky Dog Dash and Midway Mania and Tower of Terror just because they're some of my favorites. Went through and sat and watched Walt Disney One Man's Dream, which is a fun hidden little gem if you just want to, again, watch if you're a history nerd and want to, get some air conditioning and get off your feet for a few minutes. It's really a great presentation, and to walk through the different scenes or things that are in the museum there.
Yeah, there are some really neat things back there. All right, so what was next?
After that, I was headed out of Hollywood Studios. I took the boat over to the Yacht and the Beach Club, which were a couple of my other favorite resorts. My mom and I are staying at the Yacht Club for this upcoming marathon weekend. It's a resort that I've never stayed at before, which is exciting. So I walked through the lobby there just to check it out and remind myself what everything looks like in there. Walked through the Beach Club because it's another favorite of mine, and then headed back into Epcot to do a little bit more snacking just for some light bites, and then headed later that afternoon over to Magic Kingdom to use my lightning lanes, which worked out well. I was able to get on Big Thunder Mountain again, as well as the Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, and because the wait times were a little bit higher in mid-afternoon for things like Small World, I was able to grab a lightning lane for those as well. And so it turned from pre-booking 3 to getting 5 or 6 rides out of the lightning lane multi-pass, which was kind of nice.
It is good. Yeah, I was if I think if you could get at least 6, I feel pretty okay about it. I feel like if I don't get 6 out of it, then I'm like, I'm kind of bummed about that. So
yeah, again, this was my first experience using multi-pass since the old fast pass system. Just because I haven't felt the need for it, because we're early bird rope droppers or can kind of sneak in at odd times. This I had booked specifically to make sure that I could get on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Buzz Lightyear, since they were new and I didn't know what the wait times were going to be the whole trip. Yeah. So that was kind of my insurance policy, but it worked out because I was able to get a bunch of bonus rides in too.
That's great. Yeah, we were just having discussions in our household how we're going to handle that. Where we're doing a very, very quick pre-cruise trip, and the great debate is which of the new rides do we hit up first? Because there's Muppets and there's Big Thunder and there's the Soarin' Over America, and it's like, what? You can't pick a lightning lane for all 3 of those parks. That's not how it works. So yeah. It's like, do we buy it? Do we not buy it? And there's 4 of us, and so it starts to get quite expensive that way. So but then part of me is like, if we just do all those 3 rides and don't book lightning lane, I would still be totally happy. But I don't know if the rest of the humans would be. So
Yeah. So the way I look at it, and normally it's either just like for this trip in particular, just myself or just two of us. Um, I will book them for Guardians of the Galaxy, especially staying at a resort where you're coming in from International Gateway, because we learned rope dropping marathon weekend. Yes, my mom and I are both crazy early enough and crazy fast enough getting ready in the morning to get back from both the 10K and the half marathon and rope drop Epcot because we were staying at
Wow,
Boardwalk.
that's
So it
great.
was a quick jaunt right back into the park. That it's almost impossible to get into the Guardians queue at rope drop from International Gateway because you're so much further away than the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
So and same thing staying at Caribbean Beach. I was okay with booking a couple of lightning lanes for Guardians of the Galaxy again, just to make sure I was going to get on that without a super long wait. And the same thing for Tron, knowing that it doesn't open with early theme park entry with some of the other rides, and a lot of people will take that half hour and go and queue up for a ride that doesn't open until 9 o'clock, where I would rather be spending that time taking advantage of some other rides and not sitting in line, but not sitting in line, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Got it. Makes sense. Absolutely. So any other highlights or great things that you did that we haven't touched on yet?
Yes. So my last full day there, which was Tuesday now, was the first day for annual pass holder previews for Soarin' Across America. So I rope drop Epcot that morning and headed right over to the land pavilion, and I was probably already 20 or 30 people back in line to get into the pavilion that morning for Soarin' Across America. And I was able to get right through that queue twice, which was great.
Wow. Okay.
That was
So
my one goal of what I wanted to do that day, was to get on Soarin' Across America, because they haven't said when it's going to end or switch back to the previous version yet, because they've said it's limited time, and I don't know if it's still going to be there by my next trip in December.
I know it's like limited time till what? Till Labor Day, till
Right.
Halloween, till 2028. Like, what's this limited time window?
That's right. That's Disney. It could be 6 months. It could be 3 years. We don't know what limited means.
It could be the celebration, the birthday celebration that lasts for 2.5 years. Who knows? So,
Right.
yeah, I feel you, because that's again kind of our big dilemma of how to handle this. So, just without any spoilers, would you say going to Soarin' Across America worth it?
Yes.
Okay.
Without spoilers, I personally feel I enjoyed it a lot more than Soarin' Around the World.
Oh, okay. That's strong.
Maybe not as much as the original Soarin' Over California, but I enjoyed it far more than Soarin' Around the World.
Okay.
And I think it was a good update, and was a good. If you're able to ride it, you'll see there's some cute nods to some things of the past, but it was a good experience.
Oh, now I got to figure this out. How am I going to make it over there? This is all is because my daughter and I ended up getting tickets to go see Noah Khan, and now we're flying in the day after, and it's World Cup time, and we're all huge soccer fans, and so this whole thing is like causing. And then we have a big dinner planned one night, so that takes out some time, which I'm excited for. And then it's the 4th of July fireworks. Just so much stuff. Never enough time.
Too much to fit in. Yeah.
All these people are like, "You go often, aren't you sick of it?" I'm like, "No, there are a zillion and one things I've never done before." And
this whole trip was filled with things off the beaten path, like I rode Living with the Land 3 times just because I wanted to, or doing other things like sitting down in the America's Garden. In the American Adventure Pavilion, doing Impressions de France, or doing the Enchanted Tiki Room. All of these things that you don't necessarily want to take up the time to do when you're in a big trip or with multiple people, or don't have a lot of time.
Okay, so when you go for your holiday trip, you have to do the Living with the Land holiday overlay. I suggest doing it in the evening. It is you've got to make time to do that, because it is just. My family made fun of me because there was a line for Living with the Land. They're like, "Are you kidding me? We're waiting in line for this." I'm like, "Yes, we are waiting in line for this, and you're going to love it, and it's going to happen, and we're waiting in line." And our line wasn't even all that bad. It was maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And then when we finished it, they were all like, "Okay, you're right. This was good." Yeah. I'm like, "I told you so." So, yeah, make sure.
I haven't seen spoilers, but I've heard good things, and I'm already looking forward to that. In a previous trip, CJ, my partner, and I have done behind the scenes, and I'm at least considering doing the Glimmering Greenhouses tour of that during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
but we'll see.
I would just make sure, yeah. And nighttime is really the best time to do it. And normally I'm not like that ride. I'm like, oh, whatever, daytime, nighttime, it doesn't
Right.
matter. But for that one, you want to do night. So, well, that
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoy it. I mean, I love living with the land anyway, but I hope you enjoy it then too. So, any other highlights or anything you want to share?
The big thing with that day, I was kind of on the fence, and shout out to Molly for kind of pushing me over the edge on, I was not sure if I wanted to go back to my room, and because I was in Epcot just to finish out the evening. I had another lightning lane for Guardians, which fortunately it stayed up this time, and it was a much smoother experience than the beginning of my trip, because Guardians has become my favorite roller coaster since it has opened, for sure. It's definitely trumped Rock and Roller Coaster, at least the previous version of it. It's like, my flight the next morning was not that early. Do I go back in my room and just go to bed? It's been a long trip. Or do I tough it out one more night and go back to Magic Kingdom to see Happily Ever After one more time and ugly cry by myself for my last night and go out with a bang? So I was convinced to go over to Magic Kingdom and enjoy Happily Ever After one more time to wrap up my solo trip, which
Aren't these peer pressuring friends just great? Just do it. Just do it.
oh yeah, you can sleep when you get home. That's
Yeah.
my mentality when you're in Disney, at least not on a race weekend.
Yeah.
And that was really a good ending to an awesome trip, was to wrap it up with Happily Ever After. And then I kind of got a corner spot right by the plaza, which, come to find out, they open the Main Street bypass, I think, every night now to get people out of the park, which is awesome. So I had a corner spot where I could just slip right into the bypass and straight out the park, and again onto a bus and get back to my resort and back into bed before 11 o'clock.
So you did fireworks twice.
I did, and I didn't do Luminous, which would have been at 9, which admittedly I'm not a huge fan of. I miss Illuminations too much. So I stuck it out to Happily Ever After, which is later at 10 twice. Which is not easy for a morning person like me.
Good job. That's awesome. That's awesome. But I agree. All you have to do the next day is get on a plane, and you can sleep on the plane and get your sleep cycle back when you get home. So
that's exactly what my thought. I was like, well, I can just, I don't sleep on planes. I just can't fall asleep on a plane like that. But all I have to do is sit on a plane. It's not like I have to exert a whole lot of energy and get another park day out.
So are there any tips that you have for any solo travelers? I mean, I've done some solo trips before. They're definitely unique, but any tips you want to share?
So the one gotcha I think I had was, like I said, I didn't pre-book any advanced dining reservations, just seeing where the day took me to try to eat at quick service or lounges or the festival food booths in Epcot, which was great. But I think if I were to do it again, I would probably sprinkle 1 or 2 advanced dining reservations in there, because normally, at least for me, I plan those ahead of time. So I know it's like, that's my break point in the day. And I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat that night or that afternoon for a good solid meal. Where a lot of times I was going, I'm getting hungry, I should go eat something, but I'm having too much fun and the wait time is only 10 minutes. But I really need to stop and think about what I want to eat, especially if it takes some travel to get there, because I'm already hungry now. Instead of just already having the advanced dining reservation to just go to a restaurant and sit down for a little bit to eat.
Yeah.
That was my one gotcha, where I would absolutely do a solo trip again in the future. Would be to think about your meals a little bit, especially if you get hangry like I do.
Yeah, me too.
And for anyone on the fence about doing a solo trip, just book it. Yeah. I had some guilt because I felt bad for leaving like my family at home, but that went away when I was in the parks, just having too much fun.
You're like,
you can do what you want when you want.
They're here all celebrating me. I might as well just enjoy it all. So
exactly. I'm a very fast walker by name. Obviously, I mean, yes, I'm a runner, but I'm also a very fast walker. So I didn't have to worry about anyone keeping up with me in the parks. I could just walk at the pace I wanted to, which worked to my advantage in numerous occasions.
That is great. That is great. Yeah, there are times when my family is like, oh, where did she go? I'm like, I'm the shortest out of everyone, and I can walk faster than all of you. So
same.
Got to keep up with me, people. Come on.
Yep.
Come on. Well, thank you so much for sharing your birthday solo trip with us. It sounded like it was a blast, and I love hearing about everybody's trips and things that you discovered that you hadn't tried before, or little tips that you have. So thanks for sharing that all with us. Sounds like a great trip.
Thank you for reaching out and snagging me to come and share it. This has been a lot of fun.
And I can't wait to hear about your trip in December. I'm sure you're going to have an amazing time.
Yes, I will say I've already made arrangements with the BR Guest podcast for CJ and I to do a trip report over there.
Good.
The day after we get back, so it'll be nice and fresh and right in the Christmas season.
That will be really fresh. I just we're cruising this summer with the Scott and Jared, and I was just texting them this morning like, what day are we recording? And Scott's like, not that Monday. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. Like we're all gonna need a minute or two to to gather ourselves and figure out what day it is and get back in the swing of things. So I've got a feeling that's going to be a 2-part episode because we've got park time ahead of time, and it's a 7-night cruise. It's Jared's birthday. So I think that one may be a little unhinged, but I am absolutely looking forward to the trip and then recapping it with them because it will be a lot of fun. So
yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Well, I can't wait to hear
and
about
hopefully catching up on the Discord.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm really good with the Discord. It just depends on what's going on with work. Like sometimes I'm like, I could sneak over and look at that. But then I'm like, 20 minutes have gone by and I have not responded to 3 emails. I better turn this off. So I'm trying to be better about turning it on and looking at it and then turning it back off because you can really get sucked in there and it's a lot of fun I mean, like I said, that's how I knew you had your trip because I was watching all your pictures and I was like, these are amazing. Like this looks like an awesome trip.
So, and that was something else for a solo trip. Normally if I'm with other people, I want to enjoy the moment when I'm with them. But because I was traveling by myself, I was able to share the trip with others, both family back at home, as well as with the Discord, which added to the fun for me because it felt like I was connected with everyone else and not just in the parks by myself. I was getting to share that trip in real time with everyone, which was enjoyable to return the favor for everyone when I'm, stuck back at work like I am now, or stuck at home, not in Disney World and seeing what everyone else is up to down there.
Yeah.
It was fun to get to return that favor.
And I love looking at everyone's pictures because sometimes somebody will post something of either a restaurant or a ride or an experience that I haven't done in a while. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go check that out. Or, so I love following it up. But again, I'm trying to be better behaved and not on it as much as because there was a while there I was on it all the time. I'm like, I got to really schedule some time because I got to do my work.
I normally have notifications turned off while I'm at work because I don't work from home. I have to go into the office. I tend to do it like a digest or catch up when I'm just, scrolling on the couch at night and just kind of catch up for the day all at once, which can be tough to not be in real time conversation, but at least then you don't feel like you're disconnected and don't know what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for taking the time to talk with me. I really enjoyed it. And it's not your bedtime yet, and it's not my bedtime yet. So we did this nice and early. So that's a smart thing. I appreciate that. So thanks again. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you at Marathon Weekend. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And good luck with all your training. You'll be more than fine. But I'll definitely be out there on the full marathon cheering everybody.
That's awesome. I think my mom will be out there cheering as well because she's doing the 5K and the half marathon this year.
All right. Well, we did a show not long ago with Debbie and James and oh my gosh, who else was on? Why am I blinking? Brenda. I'm like, we have more than, and we all talked about how we cheered for the marathon and what we did. So if she wants to listen to that and get some tips, because there were definitely some things that I've learned like right way and wrong way of doing things. So it was
that sounds good. Yes. I think she was so she cheered for the half marathon and then had FOMO for not registering for that herself, which is why she's doing it this upcoming year. She had met up with Debbie before that and was, because she's an early bird like me, up before I was to run the half marathon. Went out and was already on Main Street in Magic Kingdom. I think she might've been near you guys.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I don't know. That day feels like a blur. It feels like 100 years ago. Isn't that funny? So
same, especially when you're up at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
She was messaging Debbie saying, "Hey, I'm here on Main Street," and Debbie was like, "Oh, I haven't even gotten out of bed yet. Go on without me." So
Oh, the fun of marathon weekend. Well, anyway,
Yes.
thanks again so much for joining us, and looking forward to hearing your next trip report and also meeting you at marathon weekend. So thanks again. And
Thanks again. This has been a lot of fun.
And John would kill me if I didn't say it. So Kwaherini. Bye, friends.
Take care.
But somehow I got in charge of like scheduling all the shows and coming up with the show ideas and making sure that I'm like, how did this happen?